From hacked versions of the game to a Brawler Supercell deleted, these are 187 super secret Brawl Stars facts you probably didn't know. If you're playing Tick or Nita and you charge your super, you've probably thought the best way to use it is to throw it directly at the enemy. But that's actually wrong. The best way to use your super is by spawning it near you. That's because when spawnables appear, there's a slight delay before they can move or attack. So spawning them closer to the enemy actually makes them much faster to charge in and attack. Your team should take care of super management. This strategy involves managing your teammates' supers to maximize efficiency. For example, if your super is already charged, leave enemies for teammates who still need to charge theirs. Also, be careful not to take unnecessary damage, as that could charge the enemy's super and give a chance to completely demolish your team. Did you know players on the lower portion of the map have a slight advantage? Yup, that's because Brawl Stars game perspective is slightly tilted towards the upper portion of the map, meaning you'll have an easier time playing against enemies above you. Also, did you know you can actually tell if the enemy has reloaded their ammo? All you have to do is spot certain Brawler animations. For example, Tick turns his key once after reloading, Gene touches his lamp, and Sandy bobs his head. Some Brawlers don't have these animations, and some even have them removed. For example, Mortis had his lamp light up if his dash bar was full. However, Supercell thought that was somehow unfair for Mortis. Since Sphinx's release, it didn't take players too long to find a way to make him a total pain. If Sphinx uses his time-slowing super in Heist and an enemy Ems comes to attack, her attack gets slowed down, but here's the crazy part. While slowed down, her attack will deal enormous damage, literally obliterating the safe in just a few seconds. I personally think that Sphinx players should just rewind time to when they didn't exist. Edgar using the like pin is already rare, but you know what's even rarer? Multiple Edgars giving thumbs up in the same match. And that's exactly what happened in the solo showdown game. Plus, there was a kid also spamming the thumbs up pin. Yeah, it's all coming to an end. Colt literally used to be a master of flames with the eternal fire glitch. When Angel was introduced, one of their abilities threw additional fire rings with each attack. But some players found an exploit. Colt's bullets counted as separate attacks, meaning spamming shots would flood the entire map with fire rings. And to make things even worse, the bullets could bounce, causing so much chaos that it would actually crash players' phones. Safe to say, this glitch did not last long. Random teammates can be dumb, we all know that, but they're nothing compared to this Griff who literally handed the enemy team a free goal. While trying to defend, he dropped his piggy bank right in front of the goal, thinking it would stop the enemies. But as Melody ran in with the ball and shot it as a last-ditch effort, the piggy bank exploded at the worst possible moment, destroying the wall and letting the ball roll straight in. The enemy team won, and all because of that. I mean, who even uses piggy bank anymore? This dude had one of the funniest moments ever in Brawl Stars. He was about to score using his super, but just as he shot the ball, the enemy Stu dashed in and stole it. But instead of shooting it away from his goal, he accidentally supered it straight back towards his own goal, where it bounced off the post, and then Mortis came in rushing to steal the goal at the last second. Yeah, Stu probably scored a goal with his phone after that one. Barry's hypercharge is insanely overpowered, but there's actually a trick to charge it quickly in Showdown. If you enter the zone, take some damage, then leave and heal up, you'll start charging both your super and hypercharge. Do this repeatedly, and you can have it ready before you even see an enemy. And if you coordinate this strategy with a friend, you can charge it even faster. Piper just got insanely good at Brawl Ball, thanks to her hypercharge. Now, when she activates it, she not only jumps, but also destroys obstacles and pushes enemies away. So, if you throw the ball toward the goal and then jump on it using her hypercharge, you'll literally clear the path and score a free goal. Nintendo might just sue Supercell for this one. A Mario Kart inspired racing map. It's got an icy track, and if you want the full experience, you have to pick Carl. He's got a minecart, so you can drift across the entire map like a pro. They can't stop me, I'm too fast! And of course, we have to mention Juan Carlo's map. It's called KCP Masterclass, and honestly, what else would you expect? It's just a bunch of speed maps that look like Juan Carlo's score 0 to 11 with Kit. Some players suggested the map owner should submit it for community map voting so everyone could give it a thumbs up, but he refused. Honestly, I think Juan Carlos would have haunted him in his dreams if he actually did that. If you thought posting leaked free codes for legendary drops or free gems was a quick way to farm views on TikTok or YouTube, yeah, think again. Lately, Supercell's been cracking down hard on creators who do this. Why? Well, according to Danny, it just creates a ton of extra work for the support team, since people just keep asking why the fake codes don't work. So if you're part of the creator program and you pull this stunt, don't be surprised if Supercell kicks you out. Enjoy the views while they last. One way to land yourself a Brawl Stars ban and a strongly worded message from their legal team is by leaking future updates. If you somehow manage to sneak into the update and planning department and start spilling everything they've got cooking, you're asking for trouble. Brawl Stars keeps their future content super secret, but there have been a few times when players leaked unreleased brawlers and even the Brawl Stars CCTV website while it was still in development. Strangely enough, none of those players got banned. Maybe Supercell spared them since they didn't exactly break into HQ, but let's not test those limits, okay? One of the most legendary ban waves in Brawl Stars history happened back in 2021, and it was all about farming club points way faster than you were supposed to. Players used VPNs to hop between regions, joined a club, earned points, left, switched regions, joined a new club, and repeated the cycle up to 3 times. It basically turned club points into a complete joke, until Supercell stepped in, and then the only thing getting farmed was a ban on your account. Did you know that just sharing your Brawl Stars account with someone else can actually get you banned? Well, some people learned that the hard way, like pro players Ken G and Tensai. One day, they logged into their accounts and boom, banned for cheating. Fans started speculating it was modding or some shady hacks, but nope, turns out they just let their teammates, who didn't make the tournament roster, play on their accounts. Just a friendly favor, right? But instead of helping their friends live the dream, they ended up destroying their own. If you see a map full of bushes and want to dominate, pick Bo with his circling eagle star power. This ability lets you and your teammates see a wider radius inside bushes, giving you a huge advantage. With this, sneaky enemies like Edgar won't catch you off guard anymore. Back to the lobby! Here's a pro tip every player should know. Don't hold on to your gadgets and supers for too long. In most cases, waiting for the perfect moment means you might never use them effectively, or even worse, you might just get eliminated before you have the chance. However, if this is you, remember that supers can be recharged and gadgets come with at least 3 charges. So try to use them wisely, but don't hesitate. You're better off taking the shot than missing your chance entirely. Here's a strategy that might seem toxic, but is actually genius in Brawl Ball. When the enemy team gets completely wiped and you have a free shot at the goal, don't rush to score. If it's your first goal, spinning and delaying it takes precious time away from the enemy team in the next round, making it harder for them to do a comeback. I bet you've seen those annoying quests where you have to deal a ridiculous 300,000 damage with a certain brawler. Everyone knows it's pretty easy if you get a good damage dealer, but if you pull Poco, you're basically doomed. Seriously, how are you supposed to deal that much damage with a healer? And it's even worse if you've already used up all your quest rerolls. At that point, you might as well just close the game and touch some grass. If you're playing a brawler with a turret like Penny or 8-Bit, you probably place it safely behind a wall, right? Well, then comes Brock, who can literally shoot his rocket over the wall and destroy your sentry with his splash damage like he's got built-in wall hacks. No, my turret! That one had a special hand-engraved Balootic on it. Willow's mind control is straight up broken in Brawl Ball. Her super is so overpowered it's ridiculous, and Supercell still hasn't fixed it. She can literally hijack a teammate who's carrying the ball, walk straight to your own goal, and score, because you can't even attack your teammates to stop it. This glitch is insane, and yeah, I'm definitely blaming my teammate and Supercell for that self-goal. Teammates that don't care about their team are the worst, especially when you're up against Squeak. He throws his bomb on your teammates, and instead of running away, that genius teammate runs straight towards you, explodes, and takes both of you out. That's literally killing 2 birds with 1 rock. Imagine beating one of the best players in the world. Well, that's exactly what happened when a random player stumbled into a match with Crestale, one of the top Brawl Stars pros and creators out there. But instead of getting destroyed, they absolutely wiped the floor with him and his team in no time. So is he really one of the best players anymore? This has got to be a 1 in a million Brock clutch in duo showdown. He was stuck in a final 2-team fight, getting pushed by both enemies at once, and it looked like he was done for. But somehow, he pulled off the impossible. He used his super to take out one enemy, then instantly popped his jump gadget to dodge all of the incoming shots, and finished the last player with a single rocket. Okay, someone hired this guy for esports, but this player encountered one of the rarest moments in Brawl Stars. While playing solo showdown, he ran into an Edgar. Pretty chilling already. But then he engaged in combat, and Edgar actually ended up taking him out. And that's when something really rare happened. Edgar used the thumbs up emote. Yeah, Edgar being friendly? This might just be a sign that the end of the world is near. Most players think Brawl Stars bugs only exist inside the game. I mean, that's pretty logical, right? But Supercell didn't quite follow that logic, because even their ads have bugs in them. And just to make it even worse, the ad looked like something out of a clickbaity cash grab game. Ironic. It showed brawlers with tons of trophies, but the season trophy box counter didn't match at all. On top of that, the icons for these counters were completely off their positions. At this point, we just have to admit, Brawl Stars is truly a bugged game. We've seen brawlers go invisible before, but did you know there's there's another way they can disappear. In some casual matches, brawlers randomly turn into white stripes that move in a strange way, creating a bizarre visual effect. What's even weirder is that there's never an event where brawlers could turn invisible like this, yet these glitches make it seem like an actual feature. Could this mean Supercell once planned an invisible mode and then abandoned it? Who knows? If you ever wondered what an OG Brawl Stars bug looked like, well, here it is. This was the infamous move glitch, where players would get stuck on their spawn, completely unable to move. And just look how old this is. Even Brawl Stars itself was still in vertical mode. No matter the era, Supercell always finds a way to frustrate players with bugs. You know those players who somehow guess star player for absolutely no reason? Well, that's exactly what happened with this Buzz Lightyear player. He played like a total noob, stole goals, dealt no damage, and just because he happened to score twice, he ended up as star player and snatched those extra trophies from teammates who actually deserved it. It's already frustrating when this happens, but the fact that it was a Buzz Lightyear player makes it 10 times worse. This Gale got absolutely demolished for no reason. As he walked towards the center in Showdown, he spotted a bunch of El Primos and a Buzz, so he immediately started spamming the scared pin. But Buzz didn't care and went straight for him, followed by the El Primos jumping in too. Gale quickly used his tornado to escape the chaos, but just when he thought he was safe, all 4 El Primos used their super on him at the same time. Okay, that's a little bit overkill. I don't know why no one's talking about Belle's grounded star power, because it's actually insane. When she marks an enemy with her attack, they lose the ability to reload for 5 whole seconds. To put that into perspective, if they've just spammed all of their ammo and you land your shot, they'll literally be standing there doing nothing for 5 seconds. That's an eternity in Brawl Stars. I mean, that star power's name is literally exactly what it says. So yeah, you should definitely be using it. If you're struggling with Grom, then you're not playing him right. So when you play certain maps with limited passages, just make sure to throw his attack in the center of the crossroad so that it guaranteedly damages the enemy instead of trying to follow the enemy's pattern. Frank's hyper is kind of scam. So if you're going against Frank who's about to use his hypercharged super, you can actually dodge his attack if you're standing in the right spot, even though his attack shows it's 360 attack. In reality, it's not, and you can dodge it. I guess Supercell really loves to prank Frank users the most. This map was clearly made to just farm likes, but at least some effort went into it, unlike those lazy please like maps. The creator even made a sequel called For OJ that has cheese inside of it with the text. Normally, I'd roast maps like this, but honestly, I kind of respect this one. At least they put in the time and effort to make something decent. Back in the day, some community maps could actually make you overpowered. They did this by giving players mutations. Yeah, just like the ones from the old Godzilla event. And if you played that event, you know how broken those mutations were. Some players even suspect that these maps were hacked just to add those overpowered mutations. Did you know you can technically play Squid Game in Brawl Stars? There's a Squid Game inspired map, but don't get too excited. It's not a full recreation of the games from the show. It's just the final game called Squid Game. Honestly, it would be awesome if we had some kind of mod to turn this into an actual game mode, but for now, it's more of a decorative map than anything functional. I'm a legend, Balootic. Do you have a crush but are too scared to ask them out? Well, this map might just fix that. It's called the I Love You map, and it has a heart with the text I love you on it. So next time you see your crush, just hand her phone with this map loaded up. And yeah, you're definitely staying single forever. Did you know that under Supercell's official fair play rules, getting political in any way can actually get you suspended? Yep, doesn't matter if you're supporting someone or roasting them during their campaign, bringing real world politics into Brawl Stars is a big no-no. So I guess that means no more I vote for El Primo badges. Sad times. I bet you didn't know that using gem generators, yeah, those fake ones that never work, can actually get you permanently banned. Even though they're scams that just try to steal your info, if the owner of that sketchy website decides to snitch and hand your data over to Supercell, you're done. So basically, you can get banned for trying something that doesn't even work. Maybe instead of generating gems, try generating a job. Did you know you can stay in the zone until it wipes out enemies? While the old Miko and Charlie strategy might have been patched, there's a new Nani x Charlie strategy. Spoiler alert, you have to pass the Nani driving test. However, here's how it's done. As the zone is about halfway across the map, Charlie gets eliminated in the zone while Nani charges her super. Then, exactly 6 seconds before Charlie respawns, Nani goes into the zone and also gets eliminated. If timed perfectly, Charlie should respawn and activate her gadget that puts her in a protective web, which heals her over time. Once Nani is back, she uses her super with the star power that grants 80% damage reduction right after her immunity shield wears off. Finally, Charlie respawns again and uses her gadget, staying in the zone until the enemies are completely wiped out. But speaking of Nani, here's a pro tip to dodge her super. When Nani launches Peep to chase you, simply start turning to the side so Peep follows in that direction. Keep moving in circles and you'll confuse it completely. Peep's turning speed just can't keep up. Who would have guessed dodging it could be that easy? Most players don't realize that Willow can do this. In Showdown, if you're the last one standing against another player, you can just use Willow's mind control super to take control of your enemy and move them deep into the poison zone. They'll be completely helpless and ultimately trolled. Getting eliminated is already frustrating, but it's even worse when you've just charged up your hypercharge, ready to demolish the enemy team, only to get instantly killed the moment you activate it. There should definitely be some kind of short invisibility window after using a hypercharge. Seeing Mandy in knockout is probably every player's worst nightmare, and it's all because of her super. Imagine you're walking toward the middle with your team, all grouped up, and then bam, Mandy's super comes straight at all three of you. Yeah, that's when you know it's time to log off for the day. Everyone loves power cubes, but you've probably had the moment where someone swoops in and steals a cube right after you open a box or took down an enemy right in front of your brawler. This is especially frustrating when you're playing Piper, since her shots only deal high damage from a distance, meaning you can't grab the cube fast enough. We seriously need to start saying swiper, no swiping. This Colt accidentally triggered one of the rarest glitches in the game. While playing Hockey Brawl to warm up for ranked, he shot the puck toward the left side, only for it to bounce off literal air and somehow go straight into the goal. No walls, no brawlers, just air. And honestly, this is exactly why the community called Supercell Bugacell. This is easily one of the craziest close call clutches in Brawl Stars history. In a heist match, the enemy team brought the safe down to just 7%, and it looked like a guaranteed win. That was until Daryl rushed in, took out one of the enemies, and opened up the path for Brock and Jesse to charge forward. Then the 15-second countdown started ticking, and in the last second push, both Brock and Jesse activated their hypercharges and melted the enemy safe down to 4%, stealing the win right before the clock hit 0. The enemy team probably boiled their phones after that one. I bet you didn't know you could literally get jump scared in Brawl Stars. Well, the pin jump scare glitch did exactly that. Every pin would suddenly blow up in size, covering half your screen so fast that it could actually startle players. And instead of just disappearing, they would grow out of the screen in the most chaotic way possible. The true reason behind this glitch is still unknown, but one thing's for sure, it was terrifying. Though, to be honest, I wouldn't mind getting jump scared by Melody. Anyways, most players know that bots can be weird, especially when they just hide in bushes all game. But what you probably didn't know is that they can actually sync up. There used to be a glitch in Duo Showdown where a team of bots would accidentally share the same movement, acting as a single brawler. You could spot them because they'd always be in the exact same place, moving together. Now that is something you'd call double trouble. Get it? Because it's like double the trouble. I bet Chester is the brawler you use the least, but players picked him even less when this glitch appeared. As we all know, Chester's attacks are randomized, meaning you can get one of 4 different attacks for both his regular shots and super. But if you used his super, got the Pop Rocks version, and then immediately died, the attack would deal 0 damage, even though it's supposed to create a damaging area effect. Maybe this is why Chester is a joker. You know something's seriously wrong when you start seeing Brawl Stars' code on your screen. Either you're a hacker or the developers completely messed up. And that actually happened once when a new ranked season was introduced. Usually the introduction screen shows the new modifiers and maps added to the ranked cycle, but instead, players were greeted with a code snippet saying no modifiers, and that the modifier setting was set to 0. Definitely not something you're supposed to see. One of the funniest moments in Brawl Stars history has to be when Supercell added the Poop Spike skin. While Chinese Brawl Stars was getting high quality skins, global players got literal poop. But the best part isn't just Spike throwing poop in battles. It's his losing animation on the end screen where he actually poops. And with certain brawlers like BB standing next to him, it looks like she's pinching her nose because of the smell. Peak comedy. Everyone knows about the Juan Carlos 0 out of 11 kit meme, but it got even funnier when Supercell actually added his 0 out of 11 player icon in a new update. In the Pro Ranked Pass update, if you buy the pass, you can unlock an icon that literally means his loss. Juan is probably even more scared to play Kit now that Supercell made his defeat official. Okay, I bet you never play Doug, but for the 0.001% of players who do, here's a mistake you need to avoid. Don't use your super right before you die. If you're already in a fight and things are getting dicey, the better move is to use your super early, then go aggressive and try to charge it again. That way, if you get taken out, you'll revive and already be on your way to another super. Hot dogs never die! Everyone thinks Larry and Lori just never got enough nerfs, and honestly, they're probably right. But if you're actually playing them, there's a trick that completely demolishes everyone. It involves the weapon swap gadget, which normally swaps weapons before you and Lori, but there's a way to make both of you have the same weapons. First, spawn Lori and use the gadget. He'll get the thrower weapon. Then charge your super again, throw him, and while he's mid-air, use the gadget one more time. Now both of you have the thrower weapon, and you can basically rain down airstrikes on your enemies. It's so broken that players players started calling it a troll tool. Ash is a pretty strategic brawler, and if you're using his star power that fills half his rage bar with the first attack, you'll want to wait a moment between your first 2 hits. That small delay actually lets you fill the rage bar to the max, but if you just spam all your ammo right after missing the first shot, you'll barely gain any rage at all. If you thought only games and matches could be hacked in Brawl Stars, well, you'd be pretty much wrong, because some players actually managed to hack Mapmaker too. But what did that help them with? Well, normally you aren't able to place indestructible walls, but when someone hacks the game, they gain access to them. But what's even more shocking about this hacked map, this player also placed Sprout's wall on the map. Well, I guess you're nowhere safe from hackers. But have you ever wondered what happens when you stalk an Edgar player? Well, you end up in the jail map. What's so special about this map is that it's hacked, because players are spawned inside indestructible walls and have to fight each other to become the true king of Edgar hunters. Unfortunately, we can't make any jails for Edgar players, because they can just jump out of it. You're a true OG player if you remember the Brawl Ball map 1+2 + 1 + 3 + 2. Yeah, I almost had a stroke reading that too. Despite that complicated name, the gameplay was actually pretty interesting. The map had 3 separate sections where players would face off in 1v1s. To win, your middle teammate had to kill their opponent, grab the ball, and then pass it to the teammate near the goal, who also had to take out their opponent before scoring. Sounds simple enough, right? If you love Minecraft, you're gonna love this map. It's called Sky Wars, and it's basically a Minecraft Sky Wars remake in Brawl Stars. You spawn with a few power boxes, then decide whether to fight other players or loot more boxes in the middle. Who needs Minecraft when you've got Brawl Stars? Supercell banned some maps for literally no reason, and one of them is this bounty map that's filled with bushes. To be honest, I don't really know why Supercell decided to ban this and not ban some explicit maps. But tell us in the comment section, why do you think it got removed? I bet you didn't know that encouraging other players to report someone is actually bannable. Yeah, if Jimmy and Darren team up and rally a whole squad to mass report Bob, guess what? They're the ones getting banned, not Bob. Supercell probably made that rule because they don't want people forming report gangs just to wipe out every Edgar main in existence, which is kind of a fair reason to ban those players. If you ever get terrible support from the Brawl Stars team and decide to expose it by posting screenshots online, yeah, that might actually get you banned. Turns out, sharing your support chat breaks Supercell's privacy terms even if they gave you the worst replies ever. So basically, they can collect your data all day long, but the second you try to show their messages, ban hammer. Everyone knows Twitter can be a pretty toxic place, but there's one thing Brawl Stars devs surprisingly left open. You can actually tag Frank or Danny directly if you've got something important to say about the game. But here's the catch. If you go too crazy with those tags, spamming every tweet with their names like they're your personal tech support, you might not just get blocked on Twitter, but you might also earn yourself a shiny little ban in Brawl Stars too. If you're a content creator like me, there's actually a pretty creative way you can get banned, and that's by hosting something called a ban challenge. Essentially, players compete to see who can get banned the fastest, all for a prize. Yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. It's like paying people to cause absolute chaos in Brawl Stars, and we can't say it is something Supercell likes, so yeah, don't expect a ban challenge from me. Or we'll see. This showdown combo might be on a blacklist. Okay, not really, but it's a total demolishing strategy. Shelly x Jean. To pull this off, both Shelly's and Jean's supers need to be charged. Jean pulls an enemy close, and Shelly obliterates them on the spot. Bonus tip, if Jean uses his hypercharge, he can pull in even more enemies for Shelly to clean up with ease. Supercell obviously forgot their maps when they made Shade. In Gem Grab, there's a map called Snowman Forest, which is literally an island surrounded by water. Now you might ask, but Balootic, I don't see anything weird here. Well, congrats. You should probably work at Supercell. The thing is, Shade can grab all the gems, phase through walls, and just hang out on the water until the match ends, making it absolutely impossible for the other team to come back. Honestly, I think Shade needs a buff. Here's a pro tip to become a world-class El Primo player. If you see Tick's bomb heading your way, just use El Primo's throw gadget to toss a bomb straight at your teammates instead and obliterate them. That way, you'll stay alive because, let's be real, El Primo is the most important player. My hero. This next hiding strategy guarantees an easy, cheesy win in wipeout mode, with no effort. It's similar to the trapping enemies trick, but this time, you're trapping yourself. Here's how it works. You'll need Gale, Jackie, and Colt. First, as Colt takes down enemies to get up points, he'll use his wall-breaking gadget to destroy a corner. Then, Jackie repairs the walls, leaving just one tile open. Finally, Gale places his jump pad, and you all hop into the spot together. Enemies will totally be frustrated trying to reach you, but all they can do is watch as they lose. If you're a Gus main, you probably remember the pain of fighting brawlers that could fly over water. Back in the day, there was a glitch that stopped Gus's shots from going over water. So if you were up against someone like Angelo, he could easily snipe you while your balloon would just stop at the edge of the water. I guess Supercell didn't inflate his balloons enough. Did you know players can reject your invite? Well, I didn't because, well, I have no friends. Okay, but seriously, it's so frustrating when a friend you usually play with rejects your invite right in front of your face. Like, they're online all day, but suddenly they found someone better to play with? Honestly, I'd consider that cheating. How dare you? Speaking of friends, something even worse than rejecting an invite is when your friend leaves the game without telling you. You start a match, see the loading screen, and then boom, your friend is tagged with the offline text. Like, at least say you're leaving. Now I'm just gonna have to find out where you're hiding. Okay, maybe that's a good way to end up in jail. Buzz might have just gotten a huge buff with how he switched targets in this moment. In a Brawl Ball match, he used his super on Mandy, who was right in front of him. But instead of stunning her, Buzz suddenly changed direction mid-super and stunned El Primo instead. It's one of those rare moments where Buzz doesn't hold back at all, just like how this Doug wasn't holding back either. In a knockout match, all of his teammates were down, so he teleported behind the enemy, snuck through the bushes, and took out 2 of them on his own. Then, unfortunately, Bo managed to take him out. But Doug used his super just in time, revived himself, and finished off Bo like a true clutch king. Now that's a real wiener. Everyone remembers when Crow would fly with his super and score a goal while carrying the ball. That was an early Brawl Stars bug. But guess what? Supercell made the same mistake again, this time with Dynamite. Some players discovered that if you time your jumps perfectly using Dyna Jump and land on the ball while using your super, you can literally fly across the map with the ball and score while no one can stop you. We all thought Brawl Stars fixed crucial bugs, but, well, here we are again. Did you know you could clone brawlers in Brawl Stars? Back in the Angels vs. Demons season, there was an ability called Rebirth, which gave you a second life when you were supposed to die. But there was a crazy glitch with Mo and Bonnie. If you had Rebirth activated and you used their super at the same time, it would leave behind a clone that could take damage, capture hot zone, and even score a goal in Brawl Ball. It was insanely overpowered, but the real question players had was, how did Super mess this up so badly? This Spike shot was basically destined to become a meme. Just as 2 low health enemies pass by, Spike throws the perfect curveball and takes them both out at once, popping them like balloons. If you take a look at this Shelly, you can see she's running for her life, firing off her hypercharge and attacking in pure panic. But the terrifying threat chasing her down is Poco, just happily playing his guitar. Nerf Poco! You all know that little annoying Miko that's always chasing you around in matches? Well, he tried going after this bull, thinking he could actually take him down. He even used his super, dropped it aggressively, and jumped around like crazy, but then Bull just turned around and blasted him with 1 shotgun shot. Yeah, Miko should probably go back to Bloons TD. This Buzz Patrick is literally wearing the perfect skin for his skill level, because he might just be the worst Hockey Brawl teammate ever. The ball was rolling slowly toward him, and somehow he missed it completely, but it didn't stop there. It bounced again, headed straight for the goal, and Buzz missed again. The puck ended up sliding into the goal at basically 0 miles per hour. Draco can literally stay in his super forever, and that's because while he's in his dragon form, hitting enemies actually charges his super back up. So after landing a few shots, he can just refill his super bar and keep blasting even more players without ever going back to normal mode. You should definitely try the Meeple and Carl combo. In case you didn't know, Meeple's super makes any projectile from you or your teammates pass through walls. But here's where it gets interesting. When Carl uses his dash gadget, he technically becomes a projectile, and if you aim it at a wall where Meeple placed his super, Carl can actually dash straight through it. I'm not sure if this is a glitch, but for now it can be super useful for surprise attacks. There's a really cool trick to deal more damage with Surge. If you're in your 4th form and your enemy is standing right next to a wall, don't aim directly at them. Instead, aim at the wall. Your attack will bounce off it and hit the enemy, dealing nearly 7,000 damage in just 1 shot. Now that's seriously overpowered. Many players don't know this, but there's actually a strategic trick to spotting if your enemy has an epic or mythic gear. If you look closely at the icons under their brawler, specifically the gadget icon, you'll notice something interesting. Regular gadgets look plain with no texture, but if a player has a mythic or epic gear, the gadget icon will have tiny textured lines on it. This lets you figure out if the enemy is stronger before the match even starts, though you might need to grab a magnifying glass to actually see it. Speaking of gadgets, there's actually a sneaky way to tell if a player is using a vision gadget. Normally, you won't see anything on their gadget icon that gives it away, but if they shoot at you, one of your gadget icons will start flashing. That flash means they just got a glimpse of your location, even if you're hiding in a bush. So if you ever spot that icon blinking, you better run. If you're lost somewhere in the world, then you can easily navigate yourself with the help of Brawl Stars. But how exactly? Well, this player literally created a world map inside Brawl Stars. What's even crazier is that there are even more accurate versions of this map zoomed in. But let's just hope we never end up playing solo showdown on this map, because that would technically likely be World War III. I bet you didn't know you could play Team Fortress 2 in Brawl Stars. Well, not exactly, but this map would be perfect for a TF2 style game mode. It's a massive 6v6 map with 3 bridges right in the middle. And if you ask me, I can already see how these bridges would be used to push into the enemy zone, or maybe even for some kind of capture the flag mode. Fan-made maps can be cool and weird, but this player used Mapmaker to animate Piper's scene from the trailer. So, can we call it a map? Technically, I guess. But this is absolutely insane since everything was animated down to the smallest detail. I literally can't even begin to understand where you get the time to do something like this. Do you not go outside? So, there used to be a trend in the Brawl Stars community where players would create school sketches in Mapmaker. And well, one player got tired of this trend and decided to shake things up by making a sketch of his actual house and posting it online. Honestly, that's a little bit concerning, but I found a way to make this into a positive. Here, I've downloaded every Edgar main's home address, and now when they queue, they'll load into a map of their own houses.
But Balootic, how do you know what the inside of my house looks like?
Don't worry about that. One player found a very interesting way to get banned by simply logging into multiple devices at the same time. Sounds like he got banned for no reason. Well, not exact. If you do it just right, like this one player did, you can actually trick Supercell into thinking you sold your account. And that's not a very good thing to do, because Supercell takes account selling super seriously. So, even if you're just switching between your phone and tablet, you could receive a ban. Looks like Supercell really wants you to play Brawl Stars on one device, or else. Hearing about all these weird rules kind of makes you realize Brawl Stars is starting to feel like a digital jail. So, what did some players do? They went full rebel mode and made their own Brawl Stars servers. Total freedom, no bans, no Supercell telling them what they can and cannot do. Well, until Supercell finds out. Because if they do, you're not just getting banned. There's a chance you'll get sued. Yep, actual legal trouble. So yeah. Guess we don't really own our games anymore. Did you know there's a way to get banned by not playing? Yep, all you have to do is let an AI play for you. And that's something Supercell absolutely hates. Recently, some players set up bots to grind matches non-stop, ranking up accounts all the way to max without lifting a finger. Then they tried to sell those accounts online. So not only were they breaking one rule, but they were breaking 2. Do you want free max rank on your brawler? Well, all you need are your friends and the perfect trio, Colt, Gale, and Sam. As soon as the enemy team leaves their spawn, Gale places his jump pad, launching all 3 of you toward the ball. Once you land, Colt breaks the wall in front of the goal, and Sam uses his super to shoot the ball straight in. It's basically a cheat code. Speaking of Brawl Ball, when playing Chuck, make sure you place all your poles before it hits overtime. Then, when you get your super, shoot the ball from midfield and use Chuck's gadget to instantly refill your super and drive yourself straight to the goal. And now you're basically playing Rocket League. Invisibility used to be just for Leon, but now everybody has it. Okay, not really, but you can make the ultimate invisibility trio by selecting Juju, Kit, and Lily. In Knockout, activate their invisibility gadgets at the same time. Then rush to the middle while enemies think you're still at the spawn and reappear right in front of them. This is totally going to catch them off guard and probably cause a heart attack. I made all my enemies quit Brawl Stars with this strategy. To pull this off, you'll need Brock, Willow, and Gale. First, get 1 or 2 kills. Then use Brock's super, but cancel it right after the first rocket launches using his jump gadget. Next, have Gale place his jump pad leading to the trap, and then to force the enemies onto it, use Gale's super to push and stun them, and also use Willow's mind control to guide them onto the pad against their will. And just like that, your enemies are trapped. Well, unless they find a way out. If you spot hard lane in game mode selection, just pick Shade and Barry for a free win. Shade can walk on water, go through walls, charge its super in proximity, deal damage through walls, and extend its range. Yeah, Supercell calls this balanced. But on this specific map, Shade is insanely overpowered, and pairing it with Barry, which heals Shade, takes things to another level. When the zone closes towards the middle and enemies hide behind walls and bushes, just damage them through the walls while Barry keeps you healing. Shade might be scary, but not as much as this ghost. Ah! Do you know what Jesse and Belle have in common? They're both absolute masters at making you rage. Everyone's been there, running for your life with just 1 HP left, thinking you've somehow survived the chaos, only to get sniped by Jesse's stupidly accurate bounce shot or Belle's bullet ricocheting off your clueless teammate halfway across the map. Like, how does that even hit me? I hate this game. One of the most annoying types of players in Brawl Stars ranked are suggest spammers. They'll spam brawler suggestions non-stop, making that notification pop up 1,000 times. But still, that's not as bad as the players who steal your brawler the second the match loads, and then end up being the worst player on the team. This Hank player literally pulled off a frame-perfect trick. While playing Brawl Hockey, he charged his attack at the exact same moment his teammate passed him the ball, and somehow triggered a bug where he could carry the puck while keeping his attack charged. He even hit hid it behind his bubble. Guess we can call that a $10 problem, right, Supercell? This El Primo accidentally became the hero of the match. During a Brawl Ball game, his team was about to get scored on. One teammate was already eliminated, and the enemies were closing in fast. Just as Frank rushed him, El Primo misclicked and used his throwing gadget, tossing Frank right in front of the goal as Spike was about to shoot. That tiny delay was just enough for his teammate to respawn, block the ball, and pass it to Mortis, who ran it all the way back and scored. Man, I wish my misclicks were this good. Megapig actually scammed this player. Or did it? At the end of the event, this player opened his Megapig fully expecting the usual bad drops, but something insane happened. Every single one of his 20 star drops turned out to be epic, and on top of that, each one gave him 100 power points. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, and after some players calculated the numbers, they found out that the odds of that happening were basically impossible. Like, we're talking many zeros after the decimal impossible. Honestly, he would have had a better chance playing the lottery that day instead of Brawl Stars. Speaking of ranked, if you reached Diamond rank around the time Squad Busters was released and promoted in Brawl Stars, you probably noticed something weird. The download button for Squad Busters literally covered the Diamond rank tips. These tips were supposed to help players, but Supercell didn't seem to care. Guess they thought promoting their new game was way more important. Did you know that Shelly used to appear angry in the quest menu? If you checked their quests, any that included Shelly wouldn't show her icon. Instead, you'd just see the angry emo pin we all spam when raging at teammates. Looks like even Shelly was tired of grinding quests. Not fantastico! I bet you didn't know that one of the funniest team combinations in all of Brawl Stars is Poco and Doug, and that's because they match up perfectly. While Poco's doing his idle guitar solo animation, Doug is right there dancing along. You can throw literally any music over it, and it'll look amazing every single time. Ollie secretly got a buff that Supercell does not want you to know about. Previously, when using his super, Ollie would be stuck in a muted state, meaning you couldn't use his gadget at all. But now, that mute state has secretly been removed, meaning you can actually use his jump gadget while his super is active, letting you reposition and deal damage at the same time. This might actually be the new meta. If you're playing a bushy map with Angelo, make sure to constantly scan the bushes by spamming his attack through them. It's a simple but effective way to spot hidden enemies, and if you combine this with the vision gear, you can charge his attack and hit enemies directly while they're still hiding. Piper's super might seem like a big deal to a lot of players, but did you know it's actually kind of weak? Many players panic and run away from the spot she jumps from when she uses it up close, but that's the worst thing you can do. What you should do instead is just stand still, because if you don't move, her bombs won't even hit you. I feel dumb for not realizing this sooner. What if you loaded up Brawl Stars and wanted to play some community maps only to see this huge D? Okay, my bad. But seriously, this map is totally weird, and I wouldn't even be surprised if maps like these don't get banned. Rather, they just never get voted in during map voting. Everyone remembers the infamous Piper map that was a bit inappropriate, but this one is even worse, because someone actually created a map with a woman that was, well, not dressed. Honestly, this is carrying on the legacy of those OG Clash of Clans maps. Yeah, if you know, you know. But whoever made this map definitely deserves the title of Freak of the Week. Did you know there's a true community map in Brawl Stars? Player Blue Shadow literally made a post showing an empty map and said he'd add anything people commented on that post. And the final result, it looks something like this. This is basically a concept inspired by that pixel drawing game on Reddit, except this time, it's with a Brawl Stars map. Look, there are many maps I personally don't want to play on, but Sus Sands reaches the top of the list. It's because of this stupid Among Us. I can't escape. Please help me. No. Speaking of VPNs, some players discovered they could get cheaper gems by switching their region to countries where Supercell adjusted prices to match the local economy. Sounds like they just tricked Supercell, right? Well, if you try using a VPN to buy a discounted skin, you're risking a ban. Supercell does not mess around with that, so maybe just save up the real money instead of converting it into Obama bucks. Some players will do anything to bypass the chat filter, even learn Morse code. Yeah, actual dots and dashes, just to sneak in swear words without getting caught. And believe it or not, it worked. For a while, players were dropping coded insults like they were in some kind of secret agent movie. But eventually, Supercell figured it out and started handing out some bans. So if you thought you could outsmart the system, think again. Unless your next plan is to create your own language. Actually, don't. If you're playing Gray and you are facing an enemy in a better position, try the pull and teleport move. Use Gray's pull gadget and his super at the same time, and you'll teleport while pulling the enemy into the spot you just left, completely switching positions. This trick is super handy in Showdown, as you can pull the enemy straight into the poison zone. Come over here! Did you know you could trap enemies inside unbreakable walls? Back during the Angels vs Demons update, Gene players had a hilarious trick where he could use his super to pull enemies into a breakable tile surrounded by unbreakable walls. Once they they were stuck, there was no escape. All you had to do was position yourself near that structure and time your pull just right. While this bug isn't around anymore, if Supercell messed up once, they might do it again. So keep this strategy just in case. Did you know Ash can score free bounty points for his team? To do this, equip his gadget that exchanges health for rage. If you're up against RT in a bounty match and he pings you, activate the gadget to effectively eliminate yourself. But here's the twist. RT doesn't get the bounty points for your death. Instead, your team gets them. Who would have thought self-destructing could actually help you win a match? Challenges are a pretty cool addition to the game, especially since they give out free rewards. But let's be real, they're only fun until you run out of lives. Everyone knows that feeling when you're one win away from the final reward, and then you lose the challenge. Seriously, it almost feels like Supercell rigs that last win just to mess with us. Legendary drops shouldn't even be called legendary, because let's be real, you're 99% guaranteed to get something bad, and that 1% chance is probably just gonna give you Shelly. They don't even compare with mega boxes because back in the day, opening a mega box actually felt exciting. You could pull a legendary or a ton of coins, but now opening legendary drops feel more like a common pin pack. We totally need mega boxes back. If you ever wondered what top tier trolling looks like in Brawl Stars, then this is the perfect example. During a big boss match, the boss was Sprout, and the way he won was actually hilarious. He charged up his super, ran into a corner, and completely walled himself in, making it absolutely impossible for anybody to reach him. Then, he just kept spamming his regular attacks from behind the wall and literally won the match doing only that. I guess this is exactly why Big Boss got removed. Today might be the happiest day of my life because I just found out El Primo has a secret ability. Yup, you heard that right. He actually has a quantum tunneling super? What? And if you don't believe me, just watch this clip. During a gem grab match, a player stole some gems, hid in a bush, and then literally phased through a wall. This right here, guys, this is why El Primo is the GOAT. Pulling with Gray can be tricky, but this glitch was next level. During the Godzilla event, if you picked Gray and loaded into the match, you could completely freeze Godzilla for the entire game. All you had to do was use Gray's hook gadget when Godzilla was near the unbreakable walls, and boom, he'd be stuck forever. Many players abuse this trick, and let's just say it caused a lot of frustration, with players losing their egg drops and their minds. I bet you didn't know that there was a time when your coins and gems could just vanish. Some players would casually play Brawl Stars like usual, but when they looked at the top right corner, their resources were completely gone. And there was a picture of Hot El Primo! Okay, not really, but there was nothing. Just an empty space. For a second, it made players think Supercell had stolen all their coins and gems. But don't worry, Hot El Primo doesn't exist. Or does he? Sometimes I worry that Supercell might actually make us pay for 2 skins for Larry and Lori since they're technically 2 brawlers in one. And weirdly enough, that almost became a reality with the strange half skin glitch. If you unlocked a Larry and Lori skin from a drop, there was a chance that the glitch would only apply the skin to Larry, leaving Lori unchanged. Maybe Lori just didn't like the design. Honestly, I can't blame him. Neither do I. This next glitch literally erased an entire season's progress in ranked. As we know, ranks in ranked mode upgrade your icon each season when you reach them. But some players started a new season, played until they got back to their previous rank, and when they unlocked it, nothing changed. No extra stars, no upgraded icon, just the same one as before. Meaning all that grinding in the previous season was all for absolutely nothing. You know that guy who always says, "I'm crazy with Colt, trust me bro"? Well, this is essentially a live replay of those pro moves. First, he completely misses all of his shots on Bull, then follows it up by shooting straight into a wall. But it gets worse. He runs away and uses his wall breaking gadget only to miss Bull by a mile. If you play like this, maybe just stick to Edgar instead. If you're playing Stu, then you need to know this triple dash trick. If you're already picking Stu, chances are you're one of those players who are pretty good with him. But adding this move to your strategy makes you even deadlier. Here's how it works. Approach your enemy from the side with a pre-charged super, then activate your super, shoot, and immediately spam super again. This lets you dash twice in a row. Why? Because Stu fires 2 bullets per attack, and each bullet charges his super fully, allowing you to chain 2 dashes back to back. The only catch is that you'll need good ping for it to work. Otherwise, you're just gonna look dumb and get demolished. Many Sam players make the mistake of throwing his super at enemies first and then using his regular attack. But that's completely wrong. You should actually start by attacking with his knuckles on before throwing the super, because that way you deal nearly double the damage compared to attacking without them. Plus, this lets you pull off his full combo. 2 strong attacks, then the super, followed by 2 weaker attacks. If you're bored from playing too many casual game modes in Brawl Stars, then you need to try this sniper tag map. So, you get 9 friends to play custom showdown on this map and break the power key boxes so only you as the tagger get to take them. Then you're going to stand in the middle of the map with Piper and randomly shoot into the bushes. Whichever players stay alive last wins. This sounds exactly like something Mr. Beast would do if he played Brawl Stars. Did you know Supercell released probably the most effortless map in Brawl Stars? I'm talking about the H map. It's basically your average Brawl Stars map, except the bushes are shaped like the letter H. Maybe they want helicopters to land in the middle, but knowing developers, they probably thought there are some helicopters on accident. Did you ever wonder what it's like to work as Supercell support? Just chilling all day, banning players for fun, and stacking on spike cookies? So naturally, you decide to apply, only to get brutally rejected. But instead of giving up, you pretend to be support yourself. And just when you think you're living the dream, telling your friend he's getting banned for bad grades, a real support steps in and you get banned instead. And now you learned that disguising as support is a legit way to get banned. Womp womp. We all have that one friend who sends those suspicious links, and the unspoken rule is never click them. But if that friend ever decides to drop one of those shady links inside Brawl Stars, Supercell will step in and personally ban them for it. So, at the very least, let Brawl Stars be a safe zone from that one chaotic friend. Did you know using a VPN can actually get you banned? Changing your server to play against less competitive players goes against Supercell's terms of service, so don't be surprised if you end up with a suspension. But wait, does that mean if you physically travel to a country with weaker players, you could get banned too? I guess that means you are banned from traveling if you're a Brawl Stars player. Mandy might be completely broken with this strategy. Her super can fire almost across the entire map, so all you have to do is call a friend to scout the enemy locations. Also, make sure to position yourself in the center of the map. Using a clock system, your friend can call out enemy positions through voice chat, and you can aim and fire your super at those spots. If you get it right, you can wipe out every enemy without even seeing them. You can win heist with Chuck only. All you need to do is strategically place his pulls around the map, leading straight to the enemy safe. Then, use his super to zip back and forth, attacking their safe while defending your own. Even if they manage to take you down, just pop your super and boom, you're back at their safe, ready to attack again. Notifications are totally annoying, especially when your taxman messages you. But there's nothing worse than the low battery notification that always pops up in the middle of a battle, which you can't even mute. You press OK, and boom, you're literally eliminated. However, some phones have notifications that don't interrupt gameplay, which is something iPhones should definitely consider. Yeah, we're all switching to pair phones after that one. Teaming has been haunting players since the very beginning of Brawl Stars, and honestly, it's a total nightmare. You load into a solo showdown just to see 3 players teaming up against you and demolish you. Supercell already tried fixing this by adding duo showdown into the game, which didn't solve anything. But hey, if it takes a whole squad to take you down, maybe that just means you're a pro. Gold ranked was already frustrating, but the new system is even worse. Back in the day, you only need 12 level 9 brawlers to reach diamond rank, but after the rework, you now need 12 level 11 brawlers just to play in Mythic League. Yeah, inflation has even hit Brawl Stars rank. Look guys, I love El Primo, but some players make you wish he never existed. Okay, maybe that's a little bit harsh, but you've definitely played with that El Primo in Gem Grab. You know, the one who hoards all the gems, and just when your team's about to win, he does that El Primo jump and loses everything. I'd call those players El Mido because they're just mid. When a new brawler drops and they're completely overpowered, you already know what's coming. Every match gets flooded with that brawler. Seriously, it's like they're the only character in the game. The most insane example of this, Buzz Lightyear. When Buzz Lightyear dropped, the game basically became unplayable. So many players just straight up quit until Supercell finally stepped in and nerfed him. But by then, most people had already gotten bored and moved on. When Supercell introduced the pizza event in Brawl Stars, many players got excited thinking we'd finally get some OG skins, or maybe even a free brawler. However, when the event actually dropped and players rushed to claim the free reward, all they got was 2 bling. So in the end, Supercell didn't give us a hype event, they just scammed us with bling. This Sprout might just be the best 4th player on the team. In one of the most unintentionally pro plays in Brawl hockey history, Sprout used his super to block the puck, except he placed the wall in the perfect position to bounce it straight into his own goal. So while the enemy team was sliding the puck forward, Sprout basically scored it for them. It's the most noob and pro moment ever at the exact same time. This Mortis pulled the biggest trick shot in the game. Well, not really. In this Brawl Ball match, Bo cleared out the entire enemy team at the goal, giving Mortis a perfect chance to score. But instead of taking the shot, Mortis pulled out his secret move, waiting for the enemy team to respawn spawn and passing the ball right to them, which ended up losing the game for his team. Speaking of trick shots, this one's actually real. Maisie pulled off a true solo score in Brawl Ball against 3 enemies. She had the ball while her teammates were eliminated, and the goal was fully defended. But just when the enemy team thought they had the upper hand, Maisie used her super to knock all of them back and scored a goal, tying the match. She definitely got back pain from all of that carrying. But you know what else is frustrating? Mr. P. Back when boxes made their return in the game, there was a bug where opening them could glitch out and give you the same pin 10 times in a row. Just like this player who opened a box only to get a bunch of angry Mr. P pins. Honestly, I just think that was a secret collaboration with Angry Birds. Have you ever been so close to getting something only to miss out at the last second? Well, some players experience this with a crazy locked up jackpot. When checking their daily freebies in the shop, they'd collect their free resources only to see a jackpot hidden behind the Brawl Pass. This left many players frustrated, but luckily, Supercell eventually fixed it. But give me that jackpot! Recently, players discovered something pretty crazy. In one of the Brawl Stars animations where Piper's making bomb cakes, there's a moment where BB jumps on Rico. But here's the wild part. Rico has chicken skin in the game. So technically, we just witnessed a chicken jockey. This may mean we'll get a Minecraft collab one day. Okay, that's probably never going to happen. If you've ever played Brawl Stars at a friend's house with bad Wi-Fi, then you know how frustrating it can get, lagging all over the place and getting folded by enemies like it's nothing. But one player experienced something even stranger. As their connection started bugging out, Draco literally folded in half. I didn't even know this was possible in Brawl Stars. Speaking of wild brawler model moments, one of the craziest has to be when Supercell accidentally broke the game and made all of the brawlers look transparent. But it didn't stop there. On top of looking like they had Leon's ability active, they also started doing T-poses. And this wasn't just in matches. It happened in the lobby and even on the match end screen. It seriously felt like playing Brawl Stars inside Gary's mod. Most players are using their hypercharge completely wrong. Right after activating it, they instantly use their super, which is a huge mistake. What you should actually be doing is wait until the end of your hypercharge to use your super, so you still get the boosted version and start recharging hyper again right away. This basically creates a hyper loop. It's super noticeable with brawlers like Janet, who can refill up to 75% of her hyper by just hitting every attack of her super. If you ever play Miko and run into another Miko in a match, make sure you never jump first, because the Miko that jumps first almost always loses. There's a really cool trick with Max's super. If you're playing support Max, make sure to call your whole team over when you get your hypercharge ready. If you activate your hypercharge super while everyone is close by, you'll almost instantly refill your super bar. Then, just land one hit on an enemy, and boom, your super is full again. You can repeat this cycle up to 3 times, giving your teammates a constant stream of energy drinks and letting them spam their supers to wipe out the entire team. This map is pretty wild, and it actually introduces a brand new game mode idea. It's called 1v1 Heist, and you're supposed to take the same brawler as your enemy and fight against them in a small space with 2 heist safes. Sounds simple, right? But here's the thing. If you're both playing Frank, it just turns into a battle of who can mash buttons faster and land their stuns first. This is basically just a test of reaction time, and honestly, I can imagine playing it more than twice without losing my mind. Supercell is actually going after you if you cancel a gem purchase. Seriously, if you try to buy gems and then cancel the transaction, Supercell can take a negative amount of gems from your account. And if that number gets too high, you could end up on the ban list. So yeah, maybe make sure you're 100% sure before spending your life savings on gems. Never idle in Brawl Stars rank, because doing so much actually might get you a 24-hour ranked ban. A content creator named Composure found this out the hard way when he stepped away for just 30 seconds to answer the door. The game told him to reconnect, which he did, and he even helped his team win the match. But once he returned to the lobby, he was hit with a message saying he was banned from ranked, despite reconnecting and playing normally. Some brawlers can charge their super pretty easily, while others not so much. But the worst pain ever is when you dive into a dangerous fight, barely make it to cover, and realize your super is at 99% with just 1 HP left, and then only to get killed the second you try to finish charging it. I bet you've been invited by a friend to Brawl Stars at their place, and you were pretty excited about it, but then you realize they have the worst Wi-Fi ever. Every time you try to move or shoot, everything lags like crazy, and you just end up getting killed. That's also the moment when you do El Primo jump on their Wi-Fi router, which probably explains why they blocked you forever. Do you know who the biggest enemy of Brawl Stars players is? Okay, Edgar players are pretty bad, but there's someone even worse. Players with troll names in Brawl Ball. They're usually tryhards, and when they score, you'll see the wildest names pop up like, haha, losers, I scored. And trust me, there are much worse names out there, and they'll definitely make you eat your phone for breakfast. I bet you didn't know there was a dislike pin that basically cost a team $1 million. It all went down during the World Cup Finals in 2021 when Tribe faced off against Ints in a siege match, and Tribe got way too toxic. Instead of focusing on the bolts, they kept spinning and spamming the dislike pin every time they got a kill. But karma hit fast. Ints turned the game around, took full control, and ended up winning the entire match, costing Tribe the championship and $1 million prize. Definitely the most expensive dislike button in Brawl Stars history. Back in the Brawler Time event, Supercell hosted a massive giveaway where players could win 1 million gems by posting a Valentine's moment related to Brawl Stars on social media. And one lucky couple actually won. The player shared a photo of himself and his girlfriend at a cosplay convention, and Supercell picked them as the winners. Since both of them played the game, they had to split the prize, getting 50,000 gems each. The plot twist? The guy already had a maxed out account, but his girlfriend didn't, so the gems were a huge boost for her. Seems like having a girlfriend is a legit way to boost your Brawl Stars account. This player literally had plot armor. While playing Jessie in solo showdown, she was nearly taken out by Crow's poison, until Crow tried to finish her off with his super, and got absolutely demolished instead. Yeah, Crow's probably not jumping back into Brawl Stars anytime soon after that one. Did you know you can make brawlers dance? Well, not really, but their icons sure can. In the Brawler menu, there's a sorting option that lets you organize brawlers by who has the most quests. But if you spam this button enough times, the icons start going all over the place. Supercell thought that they fixed this bug, but when they introduced the new favorite brawler sorting, players noticed it was happening again. Looks like Supercell has a bit more work to do on this one. We already know Buzz's Godzilla skin is a bit buggy, but did you know you could use it to steal Leon's super? If you go into a match or training grounds, charge Buzz's hypercharge, activate it, and then spam his super until it runs out, you'll then get stuck in his hypercharge state with a weird flying animation. But here's when it gets crazy. If you use your super again after running out of hypercharge, his skin completely glitches out and you'll appear totally invisible. Sounds overpowered, right? Well, not really, because the glitch was only visible to you. Everyone knows that moment when you win a super intense ranked match, thinking you've literally finally made it to the next rank, only to check the lobby and realize you're 1 point short. And of course, the next match is a total disaster and you end up losing everything, even dropping back to the previous rank. Honestly, Supercell should just add a +1 bonus point to push players into the next rank. Save us all the pain. You've probably been called a clown more times than you can count in Brawl Stars, but this stew took it to a whole new level. As a Fang was casually passing by, a random stew with the Santa skin suddenly spun around, started spamming attacks, dropped a clown spray, used the clown pin, and just kept doing it without even seeing Fang before that moment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the new red hypercharge ability, Maximum Clown Mode. This might be the biggest betrayal in Brawl Stars history. So Bull and Barry were facing off in Showdown, and Bull placed down a half heart spray. Barry, thinking it was a sign of peace, dropped the other half to complete the heart and team up. But the moment he did, Bull rushed in and absolutely destroyed him. It might seem evil, but let's be honest, teaming is even worse. So don't do it. Never play Lumi. No, seriously, I'm not joking. If you enter a match with Lumi and the enemy team has Miko, just leave the match immediately. When Lumi throws both of her balls on the field, you're left with 1 ammo to pick them back up. But if Miko jumps you while you're in ballless mode, you become completely useless because you literally can't pick up your balls anymore. But hey, at least Miko never had any to begin with. Supercell is literally lying to you. Back in the day, when you were setting your age for your Brawl Stars account, there was a message under the bar saying this won't affect your gameplay. But this was a huge lie, because if you set your age under 16, you lose about 90% of all social features in the game. No chat, no interactions, nothing. And you couldn't change it. Everyone loves sales in the Brawl Stars shop, but not all of them are worth it, especially old skin sales. Sure, they only cost around 20 gems, but let's be honest, you're probably never going to use them. And even if you do, chances are you'll pull a better skin from your next star drop and instantly forget about that outdated one you just bought. So instead of falling for the old skin sale trap, just use those extra gems on upgrades if you really can't stand seeing them sit there. This player manipulated the entire Brawl Stars community with a map name, because they named their map like equals 9,999 gems, tricking players into thinking they'd actually get gems. The map itself was pretty low effort and nothing special, but the worst part, other map makers in the community started copying this trend, even making the text appear on the map. And somehow, none of them got banned by Supercell. But guess what? To compensate for this, I'm going to be doing a 9 gems giveaway to somebody who subscribes. This is probably the dumbest map ever. It's called OO, and it features 3 teleporters that send players to small islands that are completely separated. Then, if you step into a teleporter again, you'll get sent to a bigger island. Also, every single island has healing pads that make it nearly impossible to do any damage. How did this even get approved? Speaking of islands, this map is basically an upgraded version of the previous one. It's got a total of 20 islands where players spawn randomly and can jump into other players' islands using jump pads. Kind of way too sweaty for a community map, and a lot of players agree with me on this one. Definitely slapping a tryhard only label on this map. Do you like Hyra?
Yes, Balootic.
Do you want to become like him?
Yes, Balootic.
Well, now you can, by getting yourself banned. Recently, Hyra promoted a boosting service where he'd carry accounts for money, even throwing in a summer discount. But Supercell wasn't quite happy about it. After seeing his official post, they stepped in and permanently banned him. Hyra blamed Supercell, claiming they banned him out of hate, but it didn't stop there. Other players started copying him, creating leaderboard groups that advertise similar boosting services. Thankfully, Supercell wiped them out too. So, if you're ever in the mood to get banned, just carry your friend. This Buzz literally humiliated a teamer in the most brutal way possible. In a solo showdown match with 4 players left, all of them were teaming while Buzz was stuck in the center of the map. But just when they thought they had the upper hand, Buzz activated his hypercharge and dashed toward a wall right where El Primo was hiding. His stun actually stunned Primo through the wall, and Buzz kept spamming his super to keep him stunned long enough for the zone to finish him off. That's what you get for teaming. You've probably had to grind ranked before, and it's always rough when you get stuck with bad randoms. But the absolute worst feeling is being just 12 points away from ranking up to something like Mythic, only to lose the next match and drop all the way down to Bronze. At this point, it's basically a canon event for every Brawl Stars player. Everyone loves when Brawlers get released, but what's even better is grabbing them early from Star Road by forwarding credits during that limited time window. But the worst feeling, when you're just a little bit late and finally start grinding credits, only to realize you need way more than you thought. So you're like, fine, I'll just spend some gems to skip the grind. But then, boom, you're literally 1 gem short. 1 single gem. If this has ever happened to you, you already know. Your luck is actually cursed. Val might be one of the best brawlers for pulling off rare trick shots, thanks to how her ammo bounces off walls. In one match of gem grab, a player randomly shot at a wall, only for the bullet to bounce off several others and somehow take out a penny on the other side. I bet you've seen some weird names in Brawl Stars before, but what probably never happened to you is sharing that weird name with your enemy. One player jumped into a normal match with the name I Hate Children, only to find their opponent named I Hate Kids. I guess we've got 2 teams to choose from now. Did you know you can deal 1 million damage in a single Brawl Stars match? Well, kinda. It's insanely hard to pull off, but YouTuber 6wix actually managed to do it. He teamed up with 2 friends in Power League, and their plan was to keep tying Brawl Ball matches over and over again until they hit that crazy number. And the tricky part was, if they accidentally won or lost, they'd have to wait 6 whole weeks for the quest to show up again. So, after carefully picking their brawlers, they got to work. And after 16 drawn matches and over an hour and a half of grinding, they finally did it. Now that's some serious dedication. Have you ever wanted to see the Brawl Stars lobby without all those buttons? Well, thanks to this random glitch, you actually could. This bug would sometimes appear when loading into a casual, or even worse, a ranked match. Instead of showing the loading screen with the player count, it would just leave you stuck in the lobby with no buttons at all. As a bonus, you would receive a negative reputation in ranked. But hey, at least you got to admire the beautiful menu background without any brawlers in the way. Brawl Stars developers accidentally swapped these pins. When Supercell released the Mecha Gojira tick skins, they made a really weird mistake. Or should we call it a bug? The light Mecha Gojira skin has golden eyes, but its pin shows purple eyes, while the dark Mecha Gojira skin has purple eyes, but its pin shows golden eyes. T-poses are usually the kind of bugs you'd expect in low-budget games, and Brawl Stars is definitely not one of them. Or at least it better not be, considering how much we spend on gems. But turns out that's not the case. When Buzz's Godzilla Hypercharge skin was released, activating Hypercharge didn't transform the skin properly, causing Buzz to go invisible while his supercharged variant just sat at the bottom of the screen doing a T-pose. With this bug, Brawl Stars was definitely giving off Gary's Mod vibes. Accidentally flicking the ball and missing your shot in Brawl Ball is probably one of the most embarrassing things that can happen in Brawl Stars, and that's exactly what happened to this Colette player. After using her super to launch the ball towards the goal, it actually had a chance to go in, but it bounced off when an enemy briefly touched it. Then, with every enemy down and the goal wide open, Colette walked right up and flicked the ball to the left. And the worst part is that the match ended in a draw, which means the whole game was a complete waste of everyone's time. Never put El Primo and Lola on the same team, because if you do, El Primo will literally kick Lola straight in the face. Did you know that Cordelius is kind of way too suspicious? If you go to his pin collection and spam these exact 2 pins, he actually says something weird. I think Cordelius might have gone a bit too far with this one. Speaking of clutches, this enemy team accidentally clutched against themselves. In a Brawl hockey match, the blue team completely messed up and all got wiped, leaving the goal wide open. But just as the enemy was about to score the easiest goal of their life, Ollie misclicked and kicked the ball in the wrong direction, causing it to bounce all over the map and escape. Then, Melody from the blue team respawned, dashed toward the puck, and pulled off the ultimate reverse Uno. Now that's embarrassing.